What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Cornelius Jones, 10 Mina Investing. And if you are waiting for XRP to reach a 3-digit value this year, 2025, then I think you need to temper your expectations. That's right, people. That's right. I don't think at this point XRP is going to reach 3 digits in 2025. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. Let's start with the ETFs. What about the ETFs? We expect all of the ETFs to go live between now. Franklin Templeton's went live today, and then up until the 25th. Between now and November 25th, all of the ETFs should be approved and should be out. Like I've said in previous videos, the ETFs is great demand because it's spot demand, but it's still speculative demand. The very best that the ETFs can do for us, I think, in my opinion, is take us to $10. That's the very best I think it can do. Will it do that? I don't know. Because we're talking about speculative market, people. The speculative retail market is fickle. We don't know what it's going to do. We can't predict it, especially in the short term. Trying to predict the speculative market in the next couple months is not something that I'm good at. Anybody else? Raise your hand. Right? So all we can do is guess. And whatever happens with XRP in the upcoming weeks or months, can't say I would be surprised because it's just so fickle, so unpredictable. With that said, I doubt that the speculative movement, even though this hedge fund volume from the ETFs is going to be enough to take us to 3 digits. I don't see the ETFs by themselves taking XRP to 3 digits. Best case scenario, XRP is going to start rising. And if we get to 2 digits by the end of the year, I think that would be wonderful. I think that's something that we would all smile about and be appreciative of. And so I'm hoping for that. We'll see what happens. I don't know if it's going to happen. But when we're talking about 3 digits, when we're talking about $100 XRP, that's going to happen. But it's not going to come from speculative retail movement. It's not going to come from that, people. It's only going to come from one thing. And if you've been watching my channel for at least 2 months, I think you know what I'm about to say. It's only going to come when we get to utility season. And there's only one more world event we're waiting on to take us there. What is it, people? That's right. I know somebody got it. I shouldn't even have to say it at this point. Legislation. Once we get the legislation going, then the banks can utilize this coin and you get some quarters of that going on. Then yeah, XRP demand and price is going to move to the digits that we always thought it would, like 3 digits and 4 digits and eventually 5 digits. But we can't get there without the legislation. The legislation is the key to get us there. And after my research, I've done some thorough research. I don't see a path for Trump signing any crypto legislation prior to 2026. We're already halfway in November, all right? I don't see a path for it for 2025. Therefore, I don't think we're going to get a 3-digit XRP here in 2025 for the simple reason we will not have legislation completed in 2025. It's just that simple. So I want to share some things with you guys. This is a comprehensive look into some specifics with legislation. Remember, the House passed the Clarity Act. We were very excited about that. And now the Senate has the Clarity Act, and they are not moving forward with the Clarity Act. They are moving forward. They're using the Clarity Act for a foundation, but they are going to both the Senate Agriculture Committee and the Senate Banking Committee are coming together to write a new bill for market structure purposes. And this bill it has a long way to go, people. All right, let's get into this, people. Going to read some things for you. As of November 17th, 2025, the U.S. Senate's primary focus for the next major crypto legislation is a bipartisan market structure bill to provide regulatory clarity on digital assets. Examples: defining when tokens are commodities versus securities, CFTC versus SEC jurisdiction splits, and decentralized systems. The Clarity Act builds on the 2024 FIT 21 legislation, but serves as the current House vehicle for broader crypto market rules. The Senate is not taking up and passing the House Clarity Act as is. Instead, on November 10th, 2025, the Senate Agriculture Committee, led by Chairman John Boozman and Senator Cory Booker, released its own bipartisan discussion draft for crypto market structure legislation. This draft explicitly builds on the House Clarity Act, focusing on the CFTC's role in overseeing digital commodities. Current path forward. The Senate is writing its own version, or at least the Agriculture Committee's portion, which will need to be merged or reconciled with the House bill. A full Senate market structure bill will likely combine the agriculture commodity side and banking committee security side pieces. If the final Senate text differs from the House Clarity Act, the bills will go to a conference committee. Both chambers must approve the reconciled versions before it reaches President Trump's desk. So understanding this, we have two portions of this bill: the commodity side, which is written by the Agriculture Committee, and the securities side, which is going to be written by the Banking Committee. So far, the Agriculture Committee has already released their bipartisan discussion draft. They did that back in November 10th. However, the Senate Banking Committee, they haven't even put a draft together yet. Okay? So they're about 2 to 4 weeks behind. They haven't even put a draft together yet. So we're still waiting. The hope is that in December, we are to expect the committees to have bills ready for their prospective votes early December this year, which is about 2 to 4 weeks away. But the banking side remains the bigger variable, and no dates are locked in yet. So they're going to have their markup in this early part of December. And so the Senate Banking Committee, both the Agriculture Committee, they're going to have to write both sides, the commodity side, the security side, and bring everything together and merge it into one bill. That's the markup period, and then they have to vote just to get the bill done. That's the process just to get the bill done. Okay? They're trying to have that first vote early December. But that's not the vote to get the bill passed. See, a lot of people, I'm seeing a lot of stuff being spread on X. They're excited about, this December voting for legislation. But people got to understand, it's not the overall bill it's not the vote to pass the bill. It's the vote for the markup portion, just so that we can have a bill. Okay? So I hope people don't miss that. We're not that far ahead with this bill yet to vote to get it to Trump's desk. No, this is a vote in the markup process to make sure that we have a bipartisan bill that we can bring to the floor. Okay. This is a vote to get a bill written, as long as they're okay with the language, so they can now bring it to the floor for the official procedural cloture votes and all of that. So that's just the soonest we can get the bill voted on for it to be an official bill is December. So I put into Grok, I'm thinking a reasonable projection for crypto legislation being completed is sometime in January 2026. And this is what Grok told me. Thoughts? No, January 2026 is too optimistic for full completion, i.e. both chambers passing identical text and president signing it into law. The median realistic timeline most close observers are now quoting is March through May 2026, with a genuine but less than 30% chance of it slipping into summer or later if the usual hurdles appear. Why January is a stretch? Number one, committee stage is not finished yet. Agriculture Committee still plans an early December markup, but several bracketed sections, especially DeFi and custody, remain unresolved and industry feedback is still being incorporated. Banking Committee has not even less public text and is widely described as 2 to 4 weeks behind. Agriculture staff level talks are active, but Chairman Scott has not reconfirmed a December markup after the post-election reshuffle. So the Banking Committee has not even put in a date yet for the December markup. Hopefully they'll catch up with the Agriculture Committee. Number 2, holiday calendar kills December momentum. Congress almost always adjourns mid-second week of January. Even if both committees miraculously mark up the first week of December, there is simply no floor time left in 2025 for a merged Senate bill. Number 3, post-markup steps will take time. Merge agriculture plus banking titles into one Senate vehicle. That's going to take 2 to 8 weeks. Senate floor needs unanimous consent for a formal rule, with 100 senators wanting input on crypto amendments are guaranteed. Conference committee with the House. The House Clarity Act passed in May 2025 are mostly party lines, so differences on SEC disclosure, DeFi, state harbors, and stablecoin overlap are substantial. Conferences on financial bills routinely take about 6 to 12 weeks. Final passage votes in both chambers, that's plus 10-day presidential signing window. Current consensus timelines as of mid-November 2025. Senate committee markups, December 25 to January 2026. Senate floor passage, February 2026 to April 2026, most likely March. Conference report agreed sometime between April and June 2026. Enactment, April through July 2026. That's from Bloomberg, Politico, and Cowen Washington Research Group, all cluster around spring 2026. Polymarket currently gives 42% for before April 2026 and 78% for before July 2026. So here it's saying between April and July 2026. Best case path that it hit late best case path that it could hit late first quarter. If leadership pre-negotiates almost everything, uses the lame duck session momentum, and attaches key portions to a must-pass bill, example, year-end appropriations or debt ceiling extender, a bill could theoretically land on President Trump's desk by late March. But that scenario is possible under the current pro-crypto White House and Republican trifecta. But it would still require unusually fast for a complex financial markets bill. So while 2026 is almost certain, January specifically is not a reasonable median expectation. Think late quarter 1 to mid quarter 2 instead. Now, that's just what Grok says. We don't know if Grok is going to be right there, but it definitely seems that 2025 is out of the question for legislation. I don't see it happening. And so because I don't see legislation happening this year, I don't see a 3-digit XRP price happening this year. My view on a 3-digit XRP has always and will always be about the utility, people. Until we get to utility, we will never get to a 3-digit XRP. The utility will come when world events open that door, when world events lay out that red carpet. That red carpet is the blueprint for the banks to engage with crypto. In other words, legislation being written. So I wish I could control when these things happen. Unfortunately, I can't. So as we get closer and closer to these things, we are able to see a little bit clearer. And from what we're able to see now, the reasonable expectation for legislation seems to be earliest first quarter next year to second quarter of next year. So we have some time left. So can XRP reach 3 digits in next year? I believe after the utility has hit, after we are finally in that green light season of utility, I think the reasonable expectation is you just give it a year. You know, just like the ETFs. People wanted the price to go up day one from the ETFs, right? Let's give it some time and see what happens over the next couple quarters and months. Maybe XRP gets to $5 to $7 in the next few, months or something. We'll see. I mean, next few quarters. We'll see. But when it comes to legislation, it's going to be the same thing. The day that Trump signs it, everyone's going to expect, okay, XRP should be at 3 digits the next day. No, people, give it a year. Let's see what XRP happens. Let's see what happens to XRP a year after Trump signs legislation. A year of being in utility season. A year without any, hurdles, regulatory hurdles. A year of green light season for XRP to just be able to breathe and do what it's supposed to do in the market. We'll see what happens with XRP price then. I believe a year after legislation is signed by Trump, the anniversary of that date, I believe XRP will be at 3 digits at that point. I believe that's a much more possible thing. And I believe that we're going to be wealthy during that time. That would put us at about 2027, which has been my thought from the beginning. I always thought from the earliest days, I had a 5-year window for XRP of when I thought it would be wealthy to the latest. And it's always been 2025 to 2030. It's been that way ever since I got into crypto. And it looks like the closer we're getting on right now, it's looking like more specifically, it's going to be about 2027. That's what it's looking like to me so far. That's how I see it. So we're going to see how these things play out. My eye is on legislation. That's the most thing that matters. Again, ETFs are great. We're going to see what type of volume comes from the ETFs. But if we're talking about becoming wealthy from holding XRP, it's all about that utility, baby. It's all about that legislation. That's the global event, the one next event we're waiting on that we need to help us send XRP to where we want it to be. All right, my good people, I'm going to catch you guys on the next video. Are you a part of the Discord group? We're going to be meeting tomorrow night, 8:30 Central Standard Time. That's on a Wednesday, depending on what time you're watching this video. Look forward to seeing you guys there. You guys have a blessed one. I'll see you on the next one.